right, good morning.
Good morning.
Y'all got to be really loud.
Good morning. Woo!
So welcome. I'm John Ahmann, President and CEO of the Westside Future Fund. Before we get rolling with the rest of the program, I just want to make sure, I think I'm almost recognized everyone here, but is anyone here for the first time? Do we have any first time?
Come on, first time.
No first time. All right.
Okay,
well, I'll say it anyway because it's in my script, but as a reminder for our program this morning, do a little intro up here. When we finish that, we're going to have our devotion this morning. Winston Taylor is going to lead us in our devotion in just a few minutes. And then we get done with the devotion, we'll do some updates, a little bit about the Westside Future Fund. And then we'll move into our self-introductions. So hopefully more folks will have come in by that time. We'll make sure everyone knows who's here, do self-introductions. And then our program this morning, we have a panelist discussion of some of our Westside entrepreneurs, 3 Westside entrepreneurs, along with our Chief Development Officer, talk about our program-related investment program, which is another way of saying low-cost loans from the Westside Future Fund to Westside entrepreneurs. We're going to talk about that program and its impact, and then we'll be wrapped up by 9.
Absolutely.
All right, I think that was my part.
Okay, and my part is I am Ebony Ford. I want to add my welcome. Thank y'all so much for being here. I know it's early. As Mr. Earley always says, gas is high, so we appreciate you using your gas to come out here this morning. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. For the people that are watching at home, there's still time for you to get down here. We got free Chick-fil-A. We got a beautiful audience here for you to network with, so please come on down. We appreciate you watching at home too, but please come on down if you're watching. And as John mentioned, today is all about Westside Future Fund's program-related investment program, kind of like Double Talk. And it's an awesome program. It's for low-cost loans for Westside entrepreneurs, and we are very, very excited for our lineup today. Today we had Ms. Keitra Bates with Marddy Shared Kitchen. We have Mr. Onaje Henderson with the ZuCot Gallery. And we also have Miss Yolanda Owens from Iwi, that's like kiwi without a K, is that correct? Thank you, appreciate it. From Fresh Garden Day Spa. And we also have, as John mentioned, Cristel Williams here from Westside Future Fund, so I'm very, very excited to see what's up next for their businesses. So excited for the panel a little bit later on.
Hello, good morning. My name is Benjamin Earley. Welcome in, everybody. We appreciate you coming out this morning. Again, we appreciate everybody that's tuning in online. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow our channels, help us to share the information that we share here at the summits. And I'm excited to hear from our entrepreneurs that we have here this morning. You know, anybody that is familiar with the legacy and the history of the historic Westside, it has long since been a place where Black business has boomed and thrived. And in this changing landscape that we have today, I think it's more important than ever to ensure that there is equity in the revitalization that's happening. And that does not just include residents, that also includes business owners, including the entrepreneurs who we have representing their businesses here this morning. So we're looking forward to hearing from them about the PRI program. If you notice at the back of the room, we've got QR codes. It's because we're trying to go green. I know our friends at Trees Atlanta will appreciate that. So if you want the bulletin, you can download it via the QR code. You can also donate to Westside Future Fund, which we need that.
Always looking
via the QR code, separate QR code at the back. Again, thank you for coming out. We are looking forward to sharing this morning with you, and we're looking forward to continuing to engage with you.
Absolutely.
All right, well, I think, thank you, Ebony and Benjamin.
You're welcome.
And yeah, we used to hand out the bulletins to all the chairs, but just trying to be more mindful of the impact on the environment. So on the table, if you use your phone to hit the QR code, you'll see it to grab hold of the bulletin. It has all the information about this morning, and on the website as a PDF. But now as we move into our devotion, someone I'll talk more about him in a second is well schooled in the lessons of Nehemiah. But as our since y'all are not all first-time visitors know, we always try to draw from the lessons of Nehemiah in the Old Testament for the inspiration for our devotion. And before I go any further, we always, to kind of level set, read a statement for the devotion. And it's become our tradition to begin our meetings with a positive, inspirational message from a member of our community. Recognize that many in our community are driven by their spiritual faith to participate in the Westside revitalization effort. The time at the beginning of our meetings is an opportunity to share various inspirational reflections. While the speakers may articulate their personal faith, it's meant to be inclusive, inspiring, and meaningful, with the story of Nehemiah as our guide. So I appreciate, in the story of Nehemiah goes back to Jerusalem and is called to serve and working, directly with the community, with the people that he's trying to serve. And that's how I met our devotion speaker, Winston Taylor. And what I really appreciate about Winston in his bio is in our bulletin, but he is a trained minister, but kind of in the tradition that he follows, Christian faith, is the inspiration to be in the community to serve. And so Winston is out on the street, and he owns 2 properties on the west side. One is the old St. Mark's Church, the corner of Cameron Alexander and James P. Brawley. So if Mother Moore is watching, we know she's wants us to champion that in the land use framework plan, right, Winston? And then also there's another building off MLK near Booker T. Washington. But I met Winston early in the work when I had started up in 2016. And he has been out literally working with the community for 15, 20 years, bringing his faith to uplift and to help people. And so I appreciate all the support he's given to me personally, and also the work of the Westside Future Fund. And I think with that, Winston, I've teed you up, so hopefully you're ready to go and lead us in our devotion this morning. Yeah, come on up. We'll go out. Yeah.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning. That's more so to wake me up than it is to wake you up. I'm needing help this morning. It's early. It's real early. I'm not going to be long with you this morning, but I do want to encourage you in a particular direction when we look at the daunting task that is before us and what we have to build and what we have come together to build here on the West Side. Is a huge, huge task. In many ways, it's like the task that Nehemiah had, where some would say it's an impossibility. But this morning, I want to leave you with the overall message that I believe that Nehemiah brings, which is a guaranteed success. Let me say that to you again. A guaranteed success. Nehemiah here did not go to the king not believing that what he desired was going to happen. Nehemiah went to the king with a very positive attitude that he was going to do what he said he was going to do. Let's cue that up for a little bit. He gets the bad news that things were going bad for the Jews. And he began to weep and he began to cry. But it then says he began to pray. But not just pray, but constantly. Guaranteed success. Constantly. But not only does he pray, because one of the things that I've noticed about our prayer life, it just means we talk to God. It doesn't mean that we necessarily get an answer back. But here now it talks about the month that this began and the month that he got an answer. So there was a pause in between where Nehemiah was waiting for God to do what? Respond. For guaranteed success, it's not enough for your definition to be one of prayer and where you are speaking, calling on God, but it is absolutely necessary for you to wait for an answer. Let me say that again. It is absolutely necessary for you to wait for an answer, for guaranteed success. Let me move on in the story and share with you why. So now Nehemiah goes on and he continues to pray, and God responds to him. And why it's necessary to wait for God to respond? Because now God acts on Nehemiah's behalf. And so Nehemiah, the Bible says, is in front of the king, and his countenance is bad. And his countenance had never been bad before the king, and it allowed the king to ask Nehemiah a question. Many times there are going to be places that we're going to need to go. There are rooms that we're going to need to be in, and we don't know how to get there, but God has already made the provisions for things to happen on our behalf. Absolute success. Because to start this out, Nehemiah had to be wondering how he was going to go to the king. Many stories in the Bible, whether you talk about Joseph or whatever you talk about, it's difficult to go to the king because the king has so much going on. The king has so much responsibility. How do I go to the king? How do I introduce? How do I talk about what's going on right now to this king? So God cues it up for him to be able to talk to the king. And when he cues it up for him, Nehemiah knows exactly what to say. Absolute success, guaranteed success, means taking the instructions that God has given you and following them to the letter. Following them to the letter. So many often, even those of us as believers, the Bible demonstrates through Abraham and Sarah and so many others that God will give us instructions and we will alter those instructions. And when you alter those instructions, it deviates and causes a problem because then you're not guaranteed success. Guaranteed success. And again, with the task that we have before us, this housing and the entrepreneurship and building this West Side that so many have tried before, we need to have a guaranteed formula for success. Entrepreneurship is very difficult. Starting out small business is not easy, and we like to act like it's an easy business, but so many fail all the time. Over 75% of all small businesses fail. Entrepreneurs fail. And that's a lot of risk. That's a lot of effort. That's a lot of time that you put in just to get this thing off the ground, and then it fails. I'm talking guaranteed success. But the God I serve, as John started about earlier, I can't include everybody on that because I don't know what your position is, but I would like to introduce you to the God that I serve and say this God never fails. This God never fails. Nehemiah knew that more than anybody. Nehemiah did not introduce himself to us as the governor, but he introduced us to himself as a cupbearer. Cupbearer to Artaxerxes, one who now is tasting his food, tasting his drink, and because he was a king that could be what? Poison. So Nehemiah was one who truly believed and put his faith truly in God to what? Survive every day. Just to survive every day. Now I'm going to ask you a question, and this is the one I really want you to ponder here. You don't think that there was ever any poison in the food or the wine that Nehemiah touched? Come on, somebody. Guaranteed success. You don't think so. Are you going to be like Sarah? Are you going to be like Abraham? Are you going to work from a call of mine? Are you going to say that this God that we serve is able to do all things but fail? This God that we serve is able to do the impossible because, again, the task that's before us is an impossible task with getting along with all of us and the diversity of who we're working with and getting along and the biases that's within all of us. It's an impossible task, Mr. Kathy. If we just look at it from our own scientific and our own personal selves and who's in the room, again, Nehemiah did not pump himself up. He says, I am a cupbearer. We speak of this guy as though he was all of that. That's the lowest thing you could be. You were expendable. You were. But yet I've heard this story over and over and over again, and we just make him sound like, oh man, he was cupbearer. And I don't know about you, but I'm just this little kid from Carver Homes. That God has done great things for. Yeah, I went to Syracuse, but I flunked out in my freshman year. I shouldn't even been there. But Kathy, I was only there because I didn't know it. But it was because federal funding requires so much minority participation. So I wasn't all that. I found out I wasn't all that. But I'm talking about absolute, assured, guaranteed success. I didn't go on to graduate as one of the top ones in my class. Many of us are from that same background. We're not all that. But God, and we forget that. You can never forget that. That's when Nehemiah did not introduce himself as governor, but cupbearer. You can never forget what made you successful if you want to stay successful. Because many of us stumble into success the first time. Teach Taylor. We don't want to admit that. Scientifically, business-wise, we plan on doing something else and it wound up being this, and we were going this direction and it didn't go that direction. That's not guaranteed success. That's just stuff happening. But somehow along the way, we should learn that these things were being handled by a real God. A real God. And then he was directing our footsteps, and then he was leading and guiding us. And at some particular point in here, we should be able to submit and commit ourselves into his hand and allow him to direct us. Or do we continue to forge in the opposite direction that he guides us? But Nehemiah did not do that. Nehemiah had learned to follow exact directions. And so when the king asked him the questions, and then even when the queen came behind him, he was able to give specific times. 52 days wasn't just something that happened. He reported to the king and the queen right there in the second chapter how long it was going to take. The question was asked, how long? And he responded, and they said, it's good. That's good. Go do that. So this miracle happens in 52 days. This is built in 52 days. Guaranteed success. Guaranteed success. We're looking at the housing, and we're looking at all that we got to do, the absence of housing and us getting along in funding that is needed. Acquisitions, and then finding people to work. Oh my God. Somebody's going to have to touch somebody hard just to show up to build some housing. But the only one I know that can do that is God. Guaranteed success. We learned that from the story of King Saul, how, he thought that because he was king, that he had the heart of people, and he went in to burn the incense, and the Bible says how God then turned the heart of man and woman from King Saul to King David. King Saul killed thousands, but King David killed 10,000s. And Nehemiah talked about how God touched the king's heart. If I found favor I don't know about many of you, but we need favor. I want to talk about again and inspire you and encourage you to move into a direction that allows what? A guaranteed success in your lives, in your family lives, your businesses, and all of your ventures. Thank you this morning.
All right, thank you, Pastor. So I think I heard a phrase in there a few different times, guaranteed success. Guaranteed success if you take your guidance from your faith, from your God. And I appreciate, especially having worked with Winston through the years, when times are hard, really leaning into that as your guide, when a lot of the different things can be pulling at you. So, Winston, thank you for giving that message this morning. And maybe we can give him another round of thank you, appreciation. So I know Winston's not an early morning pastor, so I especially appreciate coming this morning. And I should say, for those of you familiar with English Avenue, I'm sure familiar with the St. Mark's Church, the corner of Cameron Alexander and James Peter Brawley I mentioned earlier. I know, but Winston's got planned throughout the summer, I know, some programming, and one of the things we'll be doing later this summer to kind of lift up the incredible history of St. Mark's along with the history of English Avenue is we're going to be doing an event with the Atlanta History Center. They have an event called Party with the Past. So have a little fun, learn some history, but we'll be sponsoring that event at St. Mark's. So everyone, if you've been coming to our summit, you'll get an invite to that, so come check it out. So thank you again, Winston. And the next part of our program now, and I guess everyone here has been here before knows this, we're going to get to know each other again, still coming out of our COVID thaw. And so I'm going to come down with this microphone, and then I'll start on my left, so y'all's right. And then again, as a reminder, just stand up, your name, whatever affiliation you might care to give, where you're from, where you work, but not a whole lot more than that. So we make sure we get around the room. And so I'll start. Got everyone's kind of sitting toward the back today. I usually have a few people right here in the front row, but and they are making me work for it.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Dominga Porter. I work with Our Village United, coming from the neighborhood of Pittsburgh.
All right, we know that's a big entrepreneur program, so thank you.
Good morning, I'm Matthew Johnson. I'm coming from Cox Curry and Associates, and I stay in Grove Park.
All right, welcome.
Sean Wildwood, the Home Depot backyard, Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
All right, thank you. Morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ron Alston with Truist Bank.
We'll go this way, thanks.
Good morning, family. Tillman Ward, Community Resources of Atlanta, based in historic Vine City, where we go with the acronym WS&B, be more welcoming, safe, and beautiful. And we challenge each of you to be a part of it.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Amy Clark with the Cousins Foundation.
Good morning, everyone. Kashawn Smith, Asheville Heights will always be home, and Paper Box Serial Entrepreneur.
Thank you. We want to get everyone, right?
Rogers Williams, Icon Filmworks.
Thank you. We know y'all. Do we not do oh man, I'm sorry.
Good morning, Anthony Bellows. I'm a West Side volunteer and West Side resident.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Susan Evans, Atlanta Housing.
Good morning. I'm Keitra Bates from the Marddy's Foundation.
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Yolanda Owens, and I'm the founder of Iwi Fresh Farm to Sea and Spa, and I'm a proud native of Atlanta, Georgia, West Sider.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kelsey Wright with the Westside Future Fund.
Hello, Natasha Anderson, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning. Marnie Pittman, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, everyone. Cristel Walker, Westside Future Fund.
Lee Herp, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, Cristel Williams, Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, James Hammond, Icon Filmworks.
Good morning, Brandon Brando from TMPAV.
David Herring, TMPAV.
Good morning, Misty Kelly, TMPAV.
Good morning, my name is Brandon Brando Sr., TMPAV.
Jamel Evans, TMPAV.
All right, thank you.
Daryl Peak, Icon Filmworks.
Good morning, Onaje, Henderson, ZuCot Gallery.
Good morning, Jasmine Wright, ZuCot Gallery.
Good morning, Michael Tyler, Hot Talk Radio and KTN Television, the country of Korea.
Come back this way, thank you. Morning.
Good morning, Tim O'Mara, Bearing Spike Works.
Yep. Good morning, Gerard Reynolds, Public Relations Consultant for Redclay-Hill.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Aisha J. Thomas. I am a member of the Quest Community Development Board and also a commercial real estate attorney and volunteer on the West Side.
We'll go this way, thank you.
Good morning, I'm Kathleen Bryant with Partners in Change. We're pairing volunteer-free life coaches with adults pursuing new goals.
Good morning, Joey Brown, Partners in Change.
Hello, Dan Cathy, Atlanta native, Westside volunteer, and volunteer for the Beloved Benefit coming up on July the 7th.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Taylor Morrison. I'm a resident of Capitol View, and I'm working to reconnect Atlanta for good through the Midtown Connector Project.
Hey, everyone. Caitlin Behringer, Open Hand Atlanta, and Mechanicsville resident.
All right, man, I think.
Elijah Randall, ER Media.
All right, I think I got it in, but did anyone not get introduced? Raise your hand, make sure we. So hopefully all know each other a little bit better now. Thank you very much for everyone doing the self-introductions. And I think now we're going to do a little online introductions from our co-hosts, Ebony and Benjamin.
Yes, indeed. We got some folks tuning in online. And again, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Please, please, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, follow all of that good digital stuff. We like to share all of this information that we share here at the summits online with people who might not be able to make it here in person. So help us by hitting the like, hitting the share. It all matters. It all helps. We appreciate you. Shout out to everybody tuning in right now. Just looking on Facebook, we've got a few folks I'll read off. We got Cassandra Kirk, good morning. Miss Faye Hammonds, good morning. Mother Moore, of course we got Mother Moore. Good morning, love. Gloria Dorsey, Bob Dickinson. Who we got? Myra Walters, Leslie Ramirez. Raising Expectations. Raising Expectations is another fantastic organization that works with Westside Youth. And they do a lot of work to help make sure that Westside Youth are prepared for college. They get them admitted into college. They help them get scholarships, and they follow them throughout their career beyond college to ensure that they are sustaining a successful life coming from the West Side and repping the West Side like only West Side people can do. And we appreciate everybody who's contributing to the overall effort here in this collective effort to revitalize this community in an equitable way. Thank you for everybody, again, coming out. We appreciate you tuning in. Stay engaged with us. And I believe we got some board of directors and team slides.
We certainly do. Just a few informational items. So I think we got all family here today, all family. But for the people who are watching, anyone who is not new, who is new to Westside Future Fund and what we do, our value and mission is to always try to create a community that Dr. King would be proud to call home. So that's the work that we're doing here on the West Side every single day. And we do that Thank you for that. There's a slide, vision, mission, and value slide. And also we do this vision, mission, and values with the help of our 2022 Board of Directors. This is an all-volunteer board, so these people do not get paid at all for what they do, and so we are very, very grateful for their service in addition to running businesses, having children, having full-time jobs. So the work that they do, we are very, very grateful for. We're also very grateful for our Westside Future Fund team, who I think most of them is actually here today helping out with the summit as well. So very grateful for y'all. And we're also very grateful for a few people who are actually not on these slides. Ms. Janora Crook, Mr. Derek Jordan, Mr. Benjamin Earley, of course, who we all know, and Ms. Kelsey Wright, who I think introduced herself a little bit earlier. So we are very, very grateful for our team. Also, and I don't want to get this wrong, because I didn't know that we had historic Westside tours by Westside Future Fund. So we actually do have tours, and it's every second Saturday of each month from 10 to 11:30. You might see me on there because I've never been to one, so I'll be going pretty soon. A reservation is actually required. We want to know who is showing up to make sure we have enough space. You actually reserve on our website, westsidefuturefund.org/WFF campaign cabinet. If you can't remember that, just get on our website, westsidefuturefund.org, click around, check out the website, you'll find it, okay? And make sure you reserve your space for that tour. And also, we have 2 gift card giveaways today from Goodwill of North Georgia and the Home Depot Foundation. So I don't know if any of you know, many of you do, because again, we're here with family today. Goodwill of North Georgia actually puts people to work. So I know they have really cool stores with really cool merchandise, but if you might not realize, then when you actually go in there and make a purchase, that money is then used for job training and to put people to work. And they're also giving a gift card away today, so we want you to register for that. When you walked in, I hope that you guys got your tickets being held up back there in the back. So if you walked by and didn't get your ticket, now's your chance. You can go back. You go back and get your ticket, absolutely. We want you to have your shot. Also, Home Depot Foundation has invested millions of dollars on the West Side for revitalization, and they are also giving a gift card away today as well. So again, don't be shy. If you forgot to get your ticket on the way in, there is still time. So please go register, and we'll get your name in that drawing. And with that being said, without further ado, I think it is time for the panel. But we also have a video.
Yeah, and before we get to that, I just want to go back to the West Side Tours,
Yes.
the historic West Side Tours. If you're not familiar with the work of West Side Future Fund, this is the perfect opportunity to come and get familiar. You come out, the tours start at 970 Jefferson Street, the new headquarters of West Side Future Fund, and we appreciate all of the partners involved in helping to rehab that building and make it appropriate for all of the work that's going on now with all of the different nonprofits that are working out of it. But you really get to see the scale and scope of the work that West Side Future Fund is doing throughout the historic West Side community. So there will be entire blocks that West Side Future Fund is rehabbing and revitalizing and basically making sure that it remains affordable for legacy historic West Side residents. This is very important and very, crucial that we do this at this point in time, because as we all know, property values are increasing, which means rent is increasing, which means property taxes increasing, and that is putting a strain on legacy residents of the neighborhood, communities that are historically Black. And this is crucial also because this legacy extends back to the civil rights movement. Again, back when Black business was first really booming on the West Side, and we're trying to make sure that we continue this legacy through today, not just with residential housing and equity and fair housing, but also in supporting local entrepreneurs, Black-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses, women-led businesses, which we'll hear from today. And so we're excited to hear from our panelists, and none other than our head honcho and top dog in charge, John Ahmann, will be moderating this morning. So we're going to welcome him up, and we're going to bring our guests up for our panel discussion. And now we can actually roll that intro video as we bring it up.
Supporting Black-owned businesses is especially important in historically Black communities on Atlanta's West Side, but funding can often be by. That's where a special nonprofit comes in, helping prop up Black-owned businesses that have been hit hard by the pandemic.
So this is the quesadilla right here.
At Local Green on Atlanta's West Side,
Definitely get this.
healthy is a high priority.
We have air fried fries. We only air fry fries. We don't have a deep fryer here.
In a community that is a food desert, Zach Wallace wanted to give his neighbors fresh options.
It woke people up. It started to educate people. People didn't know what pescatarian was. People was calling it Presbyterian. That is a religion.
Has it been a struggle staying afloat?
Yes, you know, I mean, you have challenges as a small minority-owned business anyway, but you know, COVID just compounded that, right? It's just saying that when America has the cold, Black America has the flu.
Some minority businesses are now able to stay afloat through special investment loans. They're from the Westside Future Fund, a nonprofit focused on revitalizing historic, primarily Black Westside neighborhoods in need.
We're really excited about local business owners contributing to the economy, helping to fuel jobs, and helping to make a difference right here where they've been for so long.
This helps me to compete with the wages, you know, that the big guys are coming with, and bring people to the community.
As a minority-owned business and a Black woman minority-owned business, it's always been very challenging.
Those special loans help Yolanda Owens too.
We actually cut up aloe and we slice it and we rub your cuticles with this.
Her natural day spa, Iwi Fresh, is a one-of-a-kind on Nelson Street.
When I grew up on the West Side, we didn't have natural choices, our eco choices, our sustainability choices. We didn't have these type of things. So I really want to be that, and I have been that. That's my goal and passion, is to be that in the community. And then when I have companies or programs like Westside Future Fund that can back me and support me for being that, it really does help.
Two very passionate business owners there. Westside Future Fund is taking in another round of applications for minority-owned businesses on the West Side. We'll have a link in this story on CBS46.com.
All right, well, with that tee up from, so you know what's really important was on TV, right? So we're very glad to bring up our panel. So y'all, our panelists, come on up. I'm gonna sit right here, so y'all can come up up these stairs. It'd be terrific. All right. So so the goal of our session this morning, and we'll have toward the end for some questions of y'all from the audience, but to learn more about what the PRI program is, the why behind it, and then also learn more about the great work of y'all come up onto the stage. Yeah, we want you up here. Come on, you too, Cristel. I think we're all supposed to. Okay, all right. Y'all are on TV. Don't be shy. All right. Excellent. And looks like, okay. All right, well, go, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, good morning. So I'm gonna, we've got some questions we've thought through, so folks know hopefully what's come a little bit, but we want to start with Cristel, and as a Cristel is our Chief Development Officer, and our PRI program is funded by philanthropy, and because it's funded by philanthropy, the donor's not expecting it back, so in a way it can take on more risk than a typical bank underwriting, which really is underwriting to make sure kind of minimize risk. So we do want the money back, but thanks to the charitable part, which is why our Chief Development Officer has led this program. So Cristel, help folks understand a little bit about our PRI program.
Sure. So the Program-Related Investments Initiative provides, as John mentioned, very low-cost loans to minority entrepreneurs that are serving Atlanta's West Side. And the sole purpose is to help small business owners grow and serve this community in a very organic way. And we provide those loans up to $70,000. And what we're really excited about is the people, 3 of whom are represented here today, that are going to help revitalize the West Side through their services and strengthen the community as a result.
And while I know one's here, but Cristel, the donors that helped us get the PRI program moving, let's recognize them.
Sure. So we received initial seed funding from AT&T in 2018. Based on the success of that initial investment, PNC Bank and Truist Bank each made investments in 2020. And we're excited about this being a sustainable fund. It's disruptive funding that enables us to continue serving entrepreneurs, and they can come back again and again. We've got one entrepreneur that's done just that. She'll be sharing that story later. But we're really excited about what these three entities have helped make possible, and we are hopeful that others want to invest as well so that we can keep growing and supporting entrepreneurs on the West Side.
All right, excellent. I'm going to tee you up next, Keitra. But Dan Cathy, from the first Beloved Benefit proceeds, actually was one of our initial seed investments for the PRI program. And those Beloved Benefit proceeds from the first actually was Keitra Bates. It shared. So tell folks a little bit about yourself and your why behind Keitra, Marddy Shared Kitchen. And hold the mic close to your mouth too.
Sorry, I kind of got thrown off because I didn't know that the funding came from Mr. Cathy. I did not know that. Thank you. I have a lot of thank yous for you. So I'm Keitra. I am an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and mother of 5 children. And I think my entrepreneurial journey really is spurred on by my sense of justice and the belief that people should be able to follow their dreams and, excuse me, be autonomous. And living on the West Side, I started to notice that there are all these black businesses and they're thriving, but nobody knows about them but us. And then when development started to come really, really like rapidly, we're like, well, what's gonna happen to all these tiny little businesses that nobody knows about but us? And then I was one of the tiny businesses that was like, oh, we're knocking on your door too. So if you want to stay in this building, we're going to raise the rent. And we also have some ideas about how we would like for you to operate. And that didn't really sit well with me. So I said, you know what? We're going to buy a building and we're going to set up shop for ourselves and we'll be our own bosses forever. And we did that, and the building that we found was a boarded up cinder block building in Ashview Heights. And at the time, I did not know any of the history behind the building. I won't tell you all. You all can watch the videos much better than me telling you, probably. But it really has been an amazing journey for us. I think Winston, you know, this morning, it really did touch me. I don't know where he is. I can't see him so I can smile at him, but thank you, Winston. I think when you are moving in your purpose, a lot of things just kind of clear out of the way. I was running a pizza shop because I like pizza and fries. I'm like a mall rat, you know, but well, I like fresh cut fries. I'm not that bad. But, you know, when we got the building, I did not say, oh, we're going to open up a pizza shop again. We decided that we were going to create a space that was a permanent home for all the other entrepreneurs. And that essentially is why I wake up, you know, every day excited about doing this work, is because it's not focused on me. And I actually feel better when I know that I've helped someone achieve their dream. I feel like I've talked am I supposed to be talking?
You can wind up. Yeah, thank you.
Well, can I say, 'cause I know we have questions, but I really wanted to get my thank you out. May I?
I don't think I can say no at this point.
Oh.
Yeah.
I put him on the spot. So, coming here has been such a tremendous support for Marddy's. Even when Marddy's was just like a thought, I have to thank John for saying, you know what, this work that you're doing really is more of a charity. I never fathomed, like, oh, people would support what I'm doing. I'm thinking we have to do this work and nobody's gonna help us and we're gonna do it. And so many things happened, like someone broke into our building. And then I came here and I just kind of shared that with the community here. And the next thing I know, we have like a GoFundMe ad, which basically turned it into a grant for us to continue working. Your birthday with, yeah, I don't know if you trusted me at that point, but we were hired to do a birthday for John. So we had the cake and the candles, and I was in the hallway right there by myself with this guy with a horn. And I'm like, okay, I don't know him, but maybe now's the time. And I just said, hey, excuse me, Mr. Kathy, do you have any equipment? We're doing this thing, we're helping Westside entrepreneurs. And it was just a moment where he said, call me Dan. I was like, all right, Dan. And that one moment changed like the trajectory for Marddy's. And it was, I think it could only happen here. And it could only happen here because people are coming here with a sense of purpose and a mission to work together. So yeah, thank you.
All right, well, thank you.
I'll put it down.
Thank you, Keitra, all right. No, and I appreciate too, because I know when you were first, it doesn't seem like when Keitra first told me getting in front of a crowd was a big part of her own journey as a leader. So yeah, thank you. So Yolanda, tell us about eWeFresh, your why, and
yes, thank you, Keitra, for that great segue. Just saying thank you. I will just start off where you left off, and that is thank you. Thank you, Westside Future Fund. Thank you, Dan, Kathy, and thank community for supporting small Black businesses, minority Black businesses, because it's so important to have your support. You know, I am the founder of eWeFresh Farm to Skin Spa, which is located over in Castleberry on Nelson Street. We've been there literally for 16 years, y'all. 16 years. I cannot believe it. Yes, cannot believe it. And, you know, it's been a journey. It's been a journey as a minority, woman-owned entrepreneur in Castleberry Hill. Trust me, it's been a journey. But it's been good. It's been really good. I didn't even realize it was 16 years, so that's how good it's been. You know, for eWeFresh, we're a farm-to-skin spa. And what that means is that we partner intentionally with local urban community farmers here in Atlanta, where we handpick and harvest all of our ingredients, our fruits, our vegetables, and our herbs. We bring them back to our farm to skin spa in Castleberry, where we mix them, we juice them, we dehydrate, and we make skincare recipes. And we take these recipes and we apply them to our spa services. So we have spa services such as veggie mani-pedis, veggie facials, herbal massages. We have products like the 14 Karat Glow Moisturizer. I'm sure somebody has used that down here because that's our top seller. We have Squash It Out Cleanser made with squash, lettuce toner made with lettuce, cucumber eye cream. Everything is all from the farm. And EWE, in case you was wondering what it stands for, it stands for it is what it is. Meaning that whatever it is, that's what it is. And it's fresh. And so for me, as the first generation entrepreneur in my family, you know, it was very, very important for me to carry on my grandmother's legacy of home remedies, bringing back this pure, raw, sustainable self-care. So my grandmother, I'm not gonna go deep into it because I know I got a time. I saw your overtime down there, you went over, so I'm gonna try to stay true. But you know, my grandmother is my inspiration. She was the one, you know, like a lot of our grandmothers, who really healed us through a lot of home remedies. She healed my eczema. That was my inspiration through home remedy base. And then I wanted to heal my son's eczema. I'm a mother of 3, and I wanted to heal my son's eczema, and I reverted back to my grandma's recipes, and that's really how I started eWeFresh. I am a native Atlantean from the West Side. I grew up in Adamsville. I went to Harper High School, and as a little Black girl in the community, we didn't have options for sustainable self-care or things to be healthy. There was nothing that said I needed to be eating fruits and vegetables or putting natural things on my skincare. I didn't have that influence. And so for me, I'm very passionate about being a entrepreneur, a Black woman entrepreneur on the West Side, being very intentional about serving my community health, sustainable self-care, things that are going to be pure for us, that's going to feed us the truth. And that is what eRefresh is really all about, and that is my passion, and that's what I stand for. So thank you, Westside, for believing in me, Westside Future Fund, for believing in eRefresh to support us. And that PRI, I'm not going to get into it because I know that's probably the next question, but it really does make a difference for us small business entrepreneurs. So thank you.
No, thank you. And you, And I think before we come to our next panelist, but I think we had a short video on eRefresh we were going to play. Okay. Right, y'all? Do you have it teed up? Yep, I think I see a thumbs up. All right.
Hello everyone, I am Yolanda Owens and I am the founder of eRefresh Farm to Skin Spa and product line. I like to say that eRefresh is a farm to your skin movement because it's a full lifestyle. What we do at eRefresh, we partner with local farmers, urban community farmers here in the Atlanta area, where we handpick and harvest all of our fruits and our vegetables and our herbs. We bring them back to our spa where we juice them, we mix them, and we dehydrate them and make these wonderful, sustainable skincare recipes. And then we take those recipes and we apply them to our spa services, such as veggie mani-pedis, veggie facials, herbal massages. We have a DIY, it is what it is, DIY, and that makes me come to what EWE stands for. EWE stands for it is what it is, meaning that whatever it is, that is what it is. If it's carrots, it's carrots. If it's squash, it's squash. It is what it is. We believe in feeding your skin, your wholeness of your being, the truth. Feeding your skin the truth. eRefresh. It is what it is. We're located over in Castleberry Hill in Atlanta, Georgia, right next to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Please check us out. Our website is eRefresh.com. Our Instagram and all our social media is eRefresh. That's IWIFresh.com. It is what it is. Thank you. Now you know.
It is what it is. And speaking of Castleberry, because I think you're pretty close to eRefresh.
Yes.
So the neighbors, so tell us about your why, ZuCot Gallery.
So good morning, my name is Onaje Henderson. I'm one of the owners of ZuCot Gallery, along with my brother Omari Henderson and Troy Taylor. So it's interesting. So our gallery, ZuCot Gallery, we're the largest African-American art gallery in the Southeast. We specialize in original works by artists of the African diaspora. But the why started a long time ago. I come from a family of entrepreneurs, and so we used to always talk about the idea of never letting the golden handcuffs get you, right? So the idea of that, so if you feel you're in your passion, that's fine, but if you feel like you're led to do something else, don't be afraid to leave. Don't be afraid to step out, don't be afraid to follow that passion if you're called to do it. I also believe, though, from a spiritual standpoint, if you are called to do something, you'll be made uncomfortable to a place where you have to leave, to step out and do that thing you're supposed to do. So for us, when I graduated from college, my brother's 3 years older than me. We're all engineers in my family. My brother, my father, uncles, aunts, everyone's engineers. So we started working, and my brother and I had a conversation. My father's an artist, former engineer as well. And we said someone needs to take over the business for Dad as an artist. And so we were like, well, let's figure it out. So we would use our corporate dollars to go and rent out gallery spaces in Atlanta. We're from here as well, and they see these 22, 23-year-olds, walking up and saying, can we rent your gallery out for a weekend? And they're looking at us like, sure, kids, they give us they tell us an amount of money to rent it out for, and then we rent out the gallery space. But then we come in, And in those days, we were talking to people who they never spoke with before. Like, in other words, a lot of times when you're younger and you're black and you go into galleries, a lot of times people don't even speak to you, don't even acknowledge the fact that you could possibly buy something in these spaces. And so we'd walk into these spaces now and we'd bring our crowd in and we'd sell work. Now, of course, what would happen is after that show is successful and that's 3 days, the next time we say, can we watch your gallery again? They're like, it's gonna be more this time. So the price kept going up. So we just kept finding new galleries to do this in. And eventually we acquired the gallery ZuCot. And we've been there now for about 13, 14 years. And so the idea though is that the why leads to, in regards to culture, in regards to being able to see yourself on walls in general. You know, like how often do we see ourselves as black people just in public spaces on walls? So I think most entrepreneurs feel this responsibility, or I can speak for black businesses, feel responsibility for that community. And so we understand this responsibility that we also have back to the community. So we do educational things as well, but we fund a lot of it ourselves. So even working with APS, we decided to do field trips. Now we're a fine art gallery that now has, you know, we have from 5 years old all the way up to high school and college students in the gallery, talking about the idea and the importance of collecting culture. I truly believe in 1 hour you can change a child's life, so we do it for an hour at a time. And we go in and we talk about everything. Why does a painting cost what it costs? You know, and understanding it. It's funny, our very first time doing this with APS, we got the transitional school first. And I was like, they're trying to challenge us. So kid comes in and says, here I'm under this rest, is this about to be some BS? Now he said the full word, right? And I smiled because he didn't realize I was holding the door. He didn't realize I was one of the owners of the gallery. So he walks in, they sit down, and in that hour, I told them where I went to high school. I went to McNair in DeKalb County. And so they all of a sudden their eyes looked like, oh, so DeKalb. So I told them the school I went to. Then we began to talk about Tuskegee University. We began to talk about me being an engineer. Then I began to relate the art business to the music business. And if I am the gallery owner, who am I? Am I the label? Like, so we started getting all this participation back and forth. And at the end of this hour-long session of the tour and everything else, that same kid who called the BS initially says, Mr. Henderson, when I get, and he picked the biggest painting, he said, when I get enough money, and I'm gonna come back here and I'm gonna buy that painting. And so the idea is that in 1 hour, it went from something I don't even relate to at all to now I wanna be part of this. And so we now have conversations in the corporate space as well, because we're asking even companies now saying, if you wanna talk about this whole diversity and inclusion, are you living your diversity proposition? How can you show it? You know, we always see these hands where it's like the white hand and the black hand shaking hands is like diversity. You know, like these posters we see all the time, right? But what's the action behind it? You know, what is the actual intention? What are we actually doing? So I'm very appreciative to Westside Future Fund as well for actually doing something and actually acting on these things. And I think that's really important. I also think though that the fact that we have to be in a place where, as African-American and black-owned businesses, that we have to, we understand there are disparities in regards to even being able to receive loans. That's another piece that we also have to fix. Until then, though, I'm very happy that there's someone in the gap that allows us to continue doing the good work that we do in the community and for the city of Atlanta.
All right. Well, I appreciate every one of y'all's, great answers, but your drive to serve your community is such, I'm thinking about guaranteed success and your drive to serve your community in spite of. So it really came out. And maybe you kind of teed up, for folks to get a little bit better sense of like how the PRI funds, same question, like how they helped you, like what they enabled you or supported you to do.
So for us, we're actually going through now. We're going through a remodeling of the gallery of sorts. It's going to allow us to do more in regards to being able to serve more students, adults in the gallery. So we actually start construction tomorrow. We start with demolition tomorrow. We're taking out some areas of the gallery and we're going to put in a new floor. And we're doing all this though so we can actually create more space so we can do more private dinners. We have more discussions in the gallery. We can do more. Well, we have something for adults called art tastings where we talk about collecting, how to collect, why to collect, but not what to collect. We have more space for that. We can have, because we were kind of capped in the amount of people we can even have per session. We also just recently became a Microsoft partner on the technology side. So we're going to now be able to have more technology in the gallery, and now we have more space with this upgrade to be able to, we created something called the collaboration zone in the gallery. So now we can have conversations, and now we can actually do field trips with students all over the country. And so we can now virtually go through Microsoft Teams, go back and forth with them as well. So that's coming in the near future. So those are some of the things that we're able to do now. We appreciate the assistance in that. One quick thing I always think about in this is that, you know, the need to do these things, and the reason why we haven't been able to do these things in the past, and how opportunities come when they're supposed to come. So in regards to timing has been perfect. And so we are just thankful for this opportunity and look forward to you all coming to visit us and seeing the new upgrades when they happen.
All right, that's a great story. Your engineering background, taking advantage of Microsoft and going virtual, man, that's impressive.
We're definitely problem solvers.
Yeah. All right, how about you on the Capitol?
Yes, for us, you know, I didn't know you was engineer. I'm an engineer background as well,
wow.
So that's cool. I always tell people I'm engineering this farm to skin solution. So for us, the PRI has been, our goal is to scale. So we have our products right now in Whole Foods. We're in 6 local Whole Foods here in Atlanta. We've been with them for about 2 or 3 years, and we just got approved to go South Regional with Whole Foods. However, we need to create a manufacturer, our farm factory that we want to own and keep true to ourselves. We don't want to do a third party because it would not be, it is what it is. It would not be in alignment with our brand integrity. So our goal is to build and create a manufacturer, which we're looking for a facility, everyone. Looking for a place here in Atlanta where we can build our farm factory. So the PRI has allowed us to build our inventory. So the inventory is what we need to be able to scale along with, you know, a facility. But until we find our facility, we really got a chance to use the PRI fund to increase inventory. And if you know, if we're in Whole Foods and we were trying to go into other parts of Whole Foods, we just got approved, we got to be able to buy more inventory to stay afloat. So that's what we've been using our PRI for, is really creating our inventory to scale. So thank you.
Yeah, please.
So the PRI money has been really, it's allowed us to dream a bit more and to place the different parts that make Marddy supportive for entrepreneurs. So right now we have Fair Street, and we were running our shared kitchen out of that. Very tiny because it used to be a diner when it was built. During COVID, we got a phone call from an engineer. I think it's a running theme. And he said, "Hey, Keitra, are you all interested in maybe having another kitchen?" And I was like, yeah, we are. And he introduced me to the church elder at the First United Methodist Church of College Park. And we have now joined them and taken over their kitchen. And that has allowed us to dream about what does Fair Street need to be. And what we noticed is that there were so many food entrepreneurs that were calling us, like, hey, you know, I'm gonna jump into this. I bought a food truck, and I just found out I need a commissary kitchen. And we're like, oh boy, how much are commissary kitchens? And the fees for commissary kitchens or ghost kitchens are anywhere from $900 a month to $5,000 plus a month to have your own space. And the way the code and the laws are written, if you own a food truck, you must have your own space. And, you know, after a while, we're hearing these phone calls and they're desperate. I mean, like people who are just like, all I want to do is start. All I want to do is work, and I can't. And for entrepreneurs, it's the unknowns that are the biggest hurdles. They're the biggest obstacles. So, you know, when the opportunity to get money, you know, we said, well, how about, because when we bought the building, we bought the vacant unit next to it and the empty parking lot. So go ahead. You had a vision for real. We didn't know what we were going to do with it, but we said this will be valuable in the future. And so we have decided that we're going to take the vacant unit next to the original diner and turn it into 4 commissary kitchens for food truck operators and people who want to have a ghost kitchen on our side of town. And the fact that the money is low interest and that the application process was guided is tremendous, you know, because it's daunting, it's intimidating to go to a bank, and banks, if you don't have a relationship with them, they're just like, yeah, we need these documents and bring it back. And if those documents, you know, include like bookkeeping and all kinds of things, you know, that is scary to an entrepreneur who's basically bootstrapping. And the Westside Future Fund, absolutely, I can name a lot of names, you know, that work there that have really said, oh, okay, let's look at this document, let's make sure this looks right. Did you look at this number? And it was done respectfully, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, well, thank you. And I guess the, and whoever wants to kind of, you know, to grab this to kind of, you know, tee up the why we need these kind of funds, you know, targeting, you know, black-based entrepreneurs on the West Side black-based entrepreneurs. Why do we need these kind of funds?
Oh, please.
You feel it in your
please,
Keitra?
Yes. So there are loan funds out there that are for minorities. You know, they advertise we are for minorities. But when you look at the rate, it is not for minorities. The rate, you know, will be twice as high as the average rate, and it feels so much like 2008 in mortgages. You're just like, well, wait a minute, you're talking about the most vulnerable community, and so now you're saying, well, oh, well, we don't know if they're going to pay it back. Well, most of the time, people from our community that go into business, they're taking a gamble and trusting themselves. And, you know, anybody that's really going to invest and gamble, you know, on themselves, I'm already halfway there with you. That's something we look for with entrepreneurs that join Marddy's. Would you bet on yourself? If you wouldn't bet on yourself, then I'm not betting on you either. But to have someone come to you betting on themselves, they have a history of you know, doing work that you can see in the community, why, oh why, would you charge them an interest rate that's double what the regular rate is out there? It seems punitive, it seems archaic, it seems historically wrong. Yes, I will stop there. Yes.
Yolanda?
Yes, it's wrong. You know, they say, like Keitra say, they say they're for you, but they're really not. It's for minority women, minority business, but it's not. First of all, the red tape, the documents that you're having to give, which is ridiculous, but you do it anyway, and you go through the process to find out that you're not qualified, you know, because you're a small business owner. But I thought this was for small business owners. Well, you're not qualified for a small business because you need to make this amount of money, or you need to be in this revenue bracket. But I'm a small business owner. I mean, that's what I thought this was for. So, you know, I don't know how many times I've ran into that over and over and over. And, you know, as a small business owner, you know, it wears you down. It wears you down. It really puts you in another space. But you don't give up, because that's who we are as entrepreneurs. We don't give up and we find a way. But you get where you don't trust the system. You know, you don't believe in it anymore because it's not there. And then when you do finally break through and they approve you, the interest rate is ridiculous. And you're like, I can't afford that. You know, but then you're in this catch-22 as an entrepreneur because you're like, but I need the money. I need this. So it really is a rat race within itself in the entrepreneur system as a minority small business owner. And then the cherry on the top is being a woman Black-owned minority business that just takes you further back. And then for me, being in the industry, because they don't take my industry serious. You know, I'm skincare, farm to skin, and they're like, what is that? There's no value in that. So, you know, we get these double, triple, whatever threats that just constantly come at you. And so I'm grateful for the Westside Future Fund for programs like this because, you know, it was very easy to apply. You didn't have to put your firstborn and your blood type and all that stuff on there. So that was easy, so that was great. And then it was intentionally for us. You know, it was for minority women, minority business owners. So that made it so easy. And then the interest rate was unbelievable. So, you know, we need more programs like this to really, truly, if you say you're gonna help us, then truly help us. So that's what the PRI did. It really, truly helped us. It was what it was. So we thank you for that. Yes.
I think for me, I follow a lot of podcasts, and you look at highly successful people, and they always talk about, especially entrepreneurs, they always talk about the number of times they failed. And I'm like, well, who funded all these failed ideas? So if you have and who keeps giving you more money to fail 2 or 3 times before you become a success? So it's a bigger elephant in the room, of course, right? So that we're all talking about right now, right? So like, if you begin to look at it, well, how do you even have this access to capital to begin with? And so historically, we know about redlining and everything else. Most people got their first investments from home ownership, and then that created this tidal wave, right? So then you can now pull from homes. You can have ideas. You can borrow money from grandma whose house is now worth X amount of dollars. Well, in our community, a lot of times that didn't happen. Where I know my father, for example, in Birmingham, Alabama, during the Civil Rights Movement, you know, there weren't like the opportunities to even buy homes was slim. And where you live was not desirable in regards to that, and the bank loans were almost impossible. So that history then leads all the way up to now. And so if this thing now with the banks are saying, well, you don't have this, and this, it's like, well, I didn't even have the opportunity, even legally, to have this, and this. So then it all comes to a head. And so then, as an entrepreneur now, you know, my biggest things, I always laugh and say, well, I can step out here with confidence knowing, A, that there's a minimum salary I'll never see because I'm an engineer. That protects me to some extent. If I fail, I can always go back to corporate. I never want to go back to corporate. But if I have something else, but to think about the risk you take in becoming an entrepreneur without a net. So the ability to fail gives you a whole lot of confidence, right? So you can step out there, you know, people say, well, I just took a measly, you know, $500,000 in, you know, from my family, or the dilemma is different, right? And so when you go through all the other things, and then you go through all these other steps, and everyone knows the history behind this, and you still have to go through all these steps, but you keep going because clearly your vision is bigger than the obstacle that's in front of you. So you want to continue past all that. And so I think with this process, number one, it was, as she was stating before, it was straightforward. It wasn't like at the very end of it, it's like, oh, here's a left hook. You know, it was none of that. It was none of that. It made it very straightforward and gives an opportunity for us to be able to be those risk takers that we see all the time, right? We read about them all the time. You know, the average, let's say, multi-millionaire, billionaire has failed 3 or 4 times before. And so I want the same opportunity. And things like this give us a taste of what that might be like, or what that could be like in a better society in general. So.
No, I appreciate y'all hitting that so hard. You've said this in a prior summit. When I'm setting up our community tours for the West Side, and one of my slides is the wealth gap, racially based wealth gap in Atlanta. So average median income for a black family in Atlanta, city of Atlanta, is like in the mid-20s. Go to white, it's over 60. So I think kind of what all y'all are addressing, it was what it was, right? We had incredible race-based historical inequities that have built into the system. And maybe, you know, back to people aren't necessarily being intentional about it, but we, like you were saying, a lot of first-generation Black families don't have home equity. You know, a lot of people like me just kind of take for granted. You know, when and so I appreciate, because a lot of times not everyone is aware of the history of how we got to and the inequities we're trying to overcome because of that history. And again, not people intentionally designing it that way today, but how we arrived at where we are today. So thank you. And it says John ZuCot video on the screen right here. So I'm getting a cue. We want to see more about your beautiful gallery. Take a little quick video, little video break. Are y'all ready to show it?
I'm nervous.
Like it?
I like it. I've never seen it. Yeah, that's great.
All right. Well, since you never see it, we're glad you got a smile on your face.
right. I was over here nervous.
Yeah, right. No, thank you very much. And I know Cristel, we don't want to, because I appreciate when we stood up the PR program, we kind of had to design it from scratch, and Cristel really led that process. So Cristel, why don't you talk a little bit about, you know, the PR process, you know, kind of steps, and how, and they all kind of spoke to how we made it easier. I know there was some stuff you've learned to put into that. So yeah, talk a little bit about the application process.
Sure. So I'll start by saying that we do have a cycle that is open right now, and it's closing on May 31st. So if there are any entrepreneurs in the room or anyone that's watching that has an interest in applying for PRI, again, that's up to $70,000. And the last day is May 31st. And as John mentioned, we wanted to make the process one that was actually helpful to entrepreneurs that were interested. And so you can go to our website, westsidefuturefund.org/PRI. All of the materials are there. But beyond that, we have virtual office hours that you can sign up for. If you've got questions about the application, we actually have a CPA that will walk you through the application, particularly the finance components of the application, if you have questions about that. There are also tools on the website that one can easily download. So for example, if you need an operating agreement for your LLC, because that needs to be part of the application, we had a Black legal team draft an operating agreement that you can use as a template and leverage that as a part of your application. We also have more tools. There's a virtual webinar that you can watch that walks you through any questions. There's an FAQ on the website, and you can call us anytime as well if you've got questions. That's 404-793-2670, and you can email us at westsidefuturefund, PRI at westsidefuturefund if you've got questions. So the point is to make it easy for people to access the funds and to make sure that the process is one where we're actually being helpful too. So the entrepreneurs mentioned that that rate is one that is reasonable. We're talking 2 to 3%. Our objective is not to make money on the entrepreneurs. Our objective is to actually see businesses scale and grow and create a sustainable pool of funds that support the community and that entrepreneurs can come back to again and again. And Keitra didn't mention, but she was in Bon Appetit. She's going to be at Pittsburgh Yards. It is amazing what is happening. We just had an event at ZuCot Gallery that it is a stunning space. and one that I think everyone in this room should visit and everyone watching should visit. And Iwi Fresh, you walk inside for 2 seconds and you walk out smelling amazing, whether you had a treatment or not. I was there. And it was pretty spectacular. And so when you just think about the types of businesses that are being supported and what that means for the community, it's really exciting. If you've been in business for 1.5 years or longer, then you are eligible to apply for this. So please do. We're excited about what it's going to mean for the community. And again, if you've got any questions, we're always here.
And to tee up, we had some great assistance. I know one of her colleagues is here today, starts with a V, that helped us with our PRI program. Village Marketplace, you want to talk about how?
Yes, so she wants to be anonymous. We have a third-party evaluator that actually reads all of his applications. So it's not Westside Future Fund that is making those decisions. We have a third-party evaluator with deep roots in the Black entrepreneurial community. She looks at every PRI, goes back if there's a missing part of the application to give folks opportunities to fix things if they need to. And then that goes to our program committee as a part of our board for further evaluation, and then the loan is underwritten. So it's a very objective process. We did that on purpose, and we're really excited about the number of entrepreneurs that we'll be able to feature when we have this next cycle close.
And my last prompt, Nehemiah, one of the things that Dan early on said to me, if everyone just takes their part, imagine everyone's a brick, right? And we all do our little part. But we have some key partners that we work with who do a lot of work on the West Side with entrepreneurs. Some of the people we get the word out with, where I'm thinking about the Russell Center. And
absolutely, yeah. So we work with a number of Black business-focused incubators and business collaboratives. That includes the Russell Center, Village Micro Fund, Atlanta Wealth Building Initiative, Kit Labs. There are so many. And again, it's just about getting the word out. And again, we hope that the folks here will get the word out as well. So thank you for sharing.
All right. Well, thank you. And I see, and maybe we're at a point we could take some questions from the audience. There's got to be there's this great panel up here, some folks got to have some questions. So if you have a question, raise your hand so they can bring a microphone over to you to ask a question. Nothing? All right.
Good morning. Thank you so much for speaking, and thank you, Mr. Cathy, for this great coffee. Question to Westside Future Fund: what kind of businesses are eligible or ineligible for these programs?
Sure. So every business type except for real estate investment businesses. We don't take multi-level marketing businesses, and gambling and or liquor-based businesses are not eligible for a PRI. Otherwise, you are eligible to give us a shot.
Well, thank you.
All right, we have another see a couple hands. All right, great.
What is the typical terms, and are the funds unrestricted?
So the funds are unrestricted. It's working capital. You do need to describe how you will use the PRI, and it can't be for personal use. It has to be about scaling your business in some tangible way. But in terms of the terms beyond that, loans are made available up to 5 years, and again, in that 2 to 3% range.
All right, and I know we have another question, and we'll also get ready. If you're on social media and want to ask a question, put your question into the social media feed, and I'll go to Benjamin in just a minute. So if you're watching on one of our social media feeds and have a question, put it in there, and we'll try to get that question too.
Yeah, I was just wondering how many loans have been given out so far, and for those who might be applying, what's been the typical possibility rate of being accepted?
Yeah, so when we started in 2018, we started with one entrepreneur, that was Keitra, and then we added another, and then COVID struck. So Last year, we really got going with the additional funding from PNC and Truist Bank, and we made our big distribution round to 8 entrepreneurs in 2021. And so we have our next round that'll be closing, and we hope to fund another 8 to 10 entrepreneurs. And as the fund grows, so if there are any businesses that have micro enterprise as a focus and you want to invest in this opportunity, the more money that is available, the more money we can deploy in the community. And what I want to also make sure I say is that this is a sustainable fund. We have a 0% default rate, which is pretty powerful. It speaks to how much the entrepreneurs that are a part of this process care about it and want to make sure that those funds are available for additional entrepreneurs down the road. So the more money that we have available, again, the more we can get out in the community.
So do we have any questions? I'll do tell me in just a second. Any questions on social media you want to hit, Benjamin?
Yeah, we got one question from Ms. Carol Hunter, who runs Truly Living Well. It's an amazing organization on the West Side doing great work. She says, I have a question. Congratulations to all the panelists on your accomplishments. If you were able to give one word of advice to somebody who's starting out, what would it be?
For me, it would be, I was told this when we first started stepping out when I left corporate, and was just to, the trick to, well, number one was, they asked me, they said, well, are you willing to lose, well, basically, are you willing to go broke for your dream? And if you're not, you may not want to get into this, because at some point you will hit bottom. I had cash saved. I said, I'm going to save all this money up. All that money went away so fast. And I picked up other jobs just to make sure I could invest right back into the business over and over and over again. And so for me, it's just really understand your commitment to it. I remember before I left corporate, I was doing really well in consulting. I went and met with my pastor and I said, hey, I think I'm supposed to do this, but if you tell me I'm not supposed to do this, I can stay. But I felt I was being led to do something, that I need to do this. But I think the willingness, I met with a number of young, successful business owners, and they all said the same thing. And they always have these stories where it gets hard. Are you willing to go through that piece of that difficulty? They say the trick to being in business is staying in business. And they say if you stay in there long enough, opportunities will arise. So you have to just fight through all those other things that may be difficult, but those challenges and all those other things are worth it, well worth it, when you're still here 13 years later, right?
I echo that. And hey, Carol, I know Carol from Truly Living Well. Great question. I echo what he says. I think bottom line is just not giving up. And I always told myself, if I give up, if I stop, I'll never know how successful I could be and how impactful I can be. So I think it's just never looking back, never giving up, because there will be times where you will hit that moment where you're like, whoa, is this for me? Am I on the right path? And so I think you cannot give up. And I think when it's burning, when you truly are that true entrepreneur, it's never an option. You may entertain it for a little bit, for a second, for maybe a night, and go to sleep, but you don't give up. Right. You have to stay the course. So I say never giving up and never looking back. Yes.
Hi, Ms. Carol. I would say what is probably the thing that keeps a lot of entrepreneurs in business and inspires us to keep going is if your business is centered around helping other people. If your focus is on you, you're going to run out of inspiration. You're going to get tired. You're going to be like, I quit. I don't want to do it anymore. But if you are focused on the people that you're serving, the people that you are helping, then just like Cristel mentioned, there's no defaults with this loan. Why is that? Because the loan has been dispersed to people who really care about the people that are coming behind us. If we default, then the opportunity looks like, yeah, this is a waste of time. It's not going to work. These people so we're very consciously aware of that. And so it matters to us to make sure that the door is still open.
Awesome. And I may ask Tillman has a question. We have the mic for somewhere. Bring it over to, it's coming your way. Raise your hand up so they can see it. Yep.
Yes, thank you. My question is about PRI. Does it collaborate with other entities that say that they are focused on helping African American businesses, such as the Atlanta Business League or the Urban League? And in terms of you all sharing, you all sharing your journey. I tease my friends that I'm a part-time optimist. After hearing you all, I'm recovering. I might be a full-time optimist. But in terms of being former engineers, you're also Imagineers, and we appreciate it.
Oh, thanks.
So to answer your question, Tillman, yes, we do work with lots of different organizations that are supporting minority entrepreneurs. Atlanta Business League is one of those organizations as well, in addition to RICE, Village Microfund, Atlanta Wealth Building Initiative, and so many others.
All right. Looks we have time for a couple more. Any more on social media, Benjamin?
Yeah, we got one more question on YouTube, which says, can we donate to the PRI?
Say it again.
Can we donate to the PRI?
Well, I think we know the answer to that, don't we, Cristel?
The answer is a resounding yes. You most certainly can. Please go to westsidefuturefund.org and choose the PRI option, because you can choose different areas, whether it's housing or education. The PRI program is one of those, and just know that you'll be making a difference. We need your support.
How you doing? Elijah Randall with ER Media. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I wanted to ask the panelists, what are some of the things that help keep you guys grounded? Just speaking of a Black minority family, a lot of times you're alone in the activities that you do. So in those dark moments when you really don't have family members to get advice from, or be able to go forward with the decisions you need to make as a business owner, what are some of the things that help keep you grounded and centered to, you know, be able to build your business, be able to take it to the next level and things of that nature?
You brought up family. Your family, if you're an entrepreneur, unless there's somebody in your family that's doing what you do or wants to, like, the advice has to come from within. You know, like the trust in yourself has to come from within. I think it's really important to get yourself around a network of people that know way more than you about what you want to do. Yeah, and you know, like, love your family, enjoy your family, make time for your family, because they're kind of like the retreat from going out here and like, oh, I've got to, you know, do this, do that, and be this. But, you know, I think home should definitely be a place where you get to take it all off and just, you know, like, we're going to eat some popcorn, you know, and have a family movie night. But I would never advise an entrepreneur to go seek counsel about something that you, from your family, just because they're family. You know, like, do you think I should do it? The answer is no. No, you shouldn't do it until you feel that you must do it. Because that's where the resolve and the conviction comes in. If you have questions like, do you think I would be a good race car driver? No, you're gonna wreck, don't do it. Let's go get you a job, you know, like, I don't know.
Yes. For me, you know, you said about the dark moments and how does it do to help, what do we do to help us through those moments? Because they're real and they do happen. You know, entrepreneurship has taught me so much about myself, taught me about life and my mentality and just my old beliefs, you know. And so for me, I've learned to really to slow down. You know, I had to really understand that, you know, for me it was, you know, hitting the grind, no pain, no gain, move it and get it. And I learned that that was costing my health at the same time, because as entrepreneurs, You know, when I left corporate America as an engineer, you know, I'm thinking I'm gonna own my own business, so I'm not gonna work as hard. Not. You know, I came in and I ended up working as harder and even more, where myself was not a priority. You know, I was just hitting the grind and hitting and moving and going, and sleepless nights and up and out and stress and all of that was increasing for me. And so I had to pause and realize that that wasn't the solution, because if I croak and die, you know, I mean, all this that I work for is null and void, you know. And so it really helped me to gain perspective and come back and really think on putting really myself first, and learning that working hard doesn't mean that I have to be up burning the midnight oil to get it. You know, it's more manifesting and believing in myself and breathing and really working, maximizing shorter time to get more productive, if that makes sense. And so for me, it's been self-care, self-time, meditation, really carving out my time, planning more, and just really maximizing. I'm a morning person, so I try to get as much as I can get done in those first 4 hours of the day. And then I'm able to go on vacation, which is within myself. Like, I get to go walking, or, you know, walk my dog and spend time with my family. And I'm learning that I'm more productive that way. So really managing my time, putting balance in, and finding time to slow my brain down and not move so fast has been very rewarding for me. And that's what really fills me up and helps me through those times.
All right.
For me, I go to therapy. I had to find some way of separating myself from my business. And I needed to have these conversations where someone else can have an opinion, but it's more about me as an individual and not what my company's doing, what I can do. So you end up getting your identity back. I think that was really important for me at one point. So it was like, who are you? I'm like, well, I'm ZuCot Gallery, and here's mine. You know, so I needed that piece of it. So that was one thing. And then also I really try to separate. So I do a lot of Audible, but I listen to fiction on Audible. And so then I'll walk to Piedmont Park, and I'll walk for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I make sure I regiment myself to where I do this at least once or twice a week. I regiment where if I can't, so with the type of schedules we lead, I kind of force myself into doing things where my trainer may come to me. I don't like seeing him, but he might come to me instead of me having to figure out a way, how do I fit this into my life? So I make things so I'm able to get that stress out, because what I don't want to do, I don't want to have my passion kill me. So all these other things, I'm at the same time I'm doing these things, I'm also making sure that I make myself my priority, and then the business and all the other stuff comes second to that.
Wow, that's probably a great way to wind up our panel discussion. So let's give them a great round of thanks and appreciation. And I guess what I really appreciate as a guy from the east side of Atlanta is getting to know y'all and the relational part about this as well. Because I think another part of our program is we're place-based and we're relational. And as we get to know each other, right, we want to lean into each other and help each other. And y'all are a great inspiration. And you've taught us so much at the Westside Future Fund. And so thank you for continuing to show up and teach us and inspire us. And with that, Cristel, you can lead them down to the stage right.
All right.
And then, speaking of entrepreneurship, Ebony's going to come back up, and Home Depot, another entrepreneur company, came right out of Atlanta. We're going to read the gift card winners of yes, the moment many have been waiting for.
Drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. That was awesome. That was an awesome conversation. I heard just so many quips. The guaranteed success, that's going to be resonating in my head like forever. And just hearing Ms. Owens saying, beating yourself to death is counterproductive. That's not going to amount to anything. So you do have to take time and space for yourself and your own health. So just a lot of good information that I will be taking away with me today. Without further ado, we do have 2 gift cards to give away today, as I mentioned earlier. And I hope everyone got their ticket. Did everyone get their tickets? Tickets? Okay, because we've already did the drawing, but we could re-scramble it if we need to. I just want to make sure that everyone is included. So the first gift card actually is Goodwill of North Georgia. And I want to say I forgot to mention that the new Goodwill of North Georgia store just opened. And I have been in there. It is awesome. Please go check it out. It's awesome, right? I don't have the address. I'm so sorry. It's on Metropolitan Parkway, so we are very happy to have them in our neighborhood doing the good work that Goodwill of North Georgia has always done. And without even further ado, the winner for the Goodwill of North Georgia gift card, the number is 130072. 130072. Who's that? 130072. It's a blue ticket. Is it you? Oh. Okay. Did the person leave? 130072. I'll pull another one then. Thank you, Tamika. Oh, okay. If you have a blue ticket and you haven't looked at the number, please take the opportunity. All right, now. Okay, 130072. Yep, that's about 5 times going. 130072? No? All right, let's go. Somebody's lucky today. 130065. Let's hear it, Mr. Henderson. Hey! All right. So if you don't mind just staying, when we're done, we'll come up and take a picture, okay? All right, appreciate you. All right, and then now we have our second gift card, Home Depot Foundation, and the winning number for the Home Depot gift card is 3990445. I keep hearing him say dang every single time. There you go. Hey. Oh! That's impossible. Wait a minute. You done cheated. Now you came here, you a panelist, and then can we even allow this? Is this within rules here, or do we need to do a redraw? Okay. Well, Mr. Henderson, I don't think this has ever happened. This is a tell. We know you are headed places. We already know that because we already see you, but this is a sign, okay? So if you don't mind coming up and taking a picture with both of your gift cards afterwards, okay? Appreciate you. And I have also been told that we have a special announcement.
We do.
Right now? Yes.
Yvonne, we need you to come on in our last couple of minutes. One of our leaders on the west side asked for just 2 minutes. Wanted to give a really
Absolutely. This is our NPU Neighborhood Planning Unit L chair, and she's also the owner of Green is Life, spelled LYF.
And do we have a mic for it? Do y'all have a? So everyone can hear. Sorry about that. Yeah, we just make sure everyone can hear you.
We got one coming up.
Yes, it's coming. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's so good to be here. Yes, I am Sade Yvonne Jones, and I currently serve as the NPUL chair, but that's not why I'm here today. I am the founder and owner of Green is Life, LYF, Living Your Future. Everything you do, everything you think, what you eat, what you drink, it affects now, but it also affects the future. I'm here representing Zero Waste Westside. It's a 90-day pilot project initiated for Microsoft. They are committed to zero waste by 2030. This is one of the initiatives that they put forward. And so I am collaborating with 2 other partners. Carol is on the line, and she is representing Truly Living Well as Gooder. This is a compost project to reduce food waste that is taken to the landfill every day that does impact us by the carbonation and everything that's released in the landfill. By diverting this food waste, Gooder, Gooder is such an amazing company. With Jasmine Crow, she founded this company, and it diverts food waste from the landfill by taking it and repurposing it for people I would say saved by the bell, but not really. Diverts food waste and really strengthens our community by doing so. She takes the food waste to shelters and to unhoused people, and the rest of the food waste that cannot be used is diverted right on over to Truly Living Well, our composting partner. And Truly Living Well is just an amazing partner as well, because what they do is so enormous, and it allows people to see actually where food comes from, out the ground, not out the store. And so it's just really been an impactful opportunity. Green is Life, we are a eco engagement, as well as building, as well as wellness corporation that I founded. And so by us coming together, we're encouraging other people in the community, businesses, residents, and especially youth, to see things differently. We're hoping that we will provide a trajectory shift of thinking about food waste. Not only food waste, but about waste, period. And not only about that, about our environment. I mean, think of what God has blessed us with: air, water, the soil, and fire. These are elements that we have, and we must sustain those things if we want to really have a sustainable life. Absolutely. And so that's what the project is about. We're inciting restaurants and other food providers to join in with us with the composting project. Gooder is offering 30 days free food pickup, and it will be diverted, like I said, to Truly Living Well for composting, or whatever Gooder sees fit to do with it. So I'm just truly excited about the project, and I'm hoping that if you're interested to get involved, I have some flyers available that also describes the project, and we have a link that you can go to and sign up. And we're hoping that the community will really see this as an asset, and that we will see that we have an opportunity to take charge of ourselves. Absolutely. And make a difference, and as well as impact the community. So thank you for this time.
Thank you.
And have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
All right, we thought that was important to work in, given its focus on the west side and zero waste. So y'all want to take us out? I know we...
Yes. Absolutely. And just one final note, I encourage everybody here, we were talking about essentially equity for access to capital for black businesses. I encourage every single person here and watching at home to just Google the term black business loan discrimination. You'll see periodicals from Forbes to LA Times to The Guardian, to just about every well-known periodical that has something to say on the matter, that it is a fact that in America, black businesses are discriminated against. Wow. When it comes to not just private loans, but also when it has come to the pandemic and PRI loans. And so this is an uphill battle. And at a time where the West Side is really changing its landscape, where there are so many resources coming into this community, and so much anxiety about that from legacy residents and legacy business owners, because they're wondering whether or not they're going to have a place in the West Side of tomorrow. It's important to make sure that we have equity for these people who are in this community, who have made this community what it is today, to make it desirable in the first place. So thank you again to Westside Future Fund for what you're doing to step up, to actually be an ally, like a real ally doing something, as Mr. Henderson said. And we look forward to engaging with more people who can actually help us do more, because it is a collective effort.
Yes, it is.
That being said, thank you again for coming out. Everybody, thank you for tuning in on social. Again, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Miss Ebony, you got one last thing you want to
I just
add?
wanted to make sure we mentioned, and I'm sure you were going there, just making sure, no summit.
No summit,
June
yes.
3rd.
No summit, first Friday of June. We'll be back on June 17th, so we'll see you in a month, essentially.
Yeah, the gathering spot was booked out, so we got to take a pause that date, but we'll be back on June 17th. Yeah.
Yes, please come back on 17th.
Right.
Until then, y'all be safe. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Here we go, at the top, on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on a roll, here we go, yeah we win. slide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a extreme, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to